Hello, everyone, and thank you so much actually for clicking to this channel. And today we're gonna be learning how to build up an AI image generator that generates images from backend. So what we're gonna do is we'll use a token actually that will connect our application, which is a Spring Boot application, to our backend, and the token actually will help us connect to Chat GPT. Okay. So basically what you see here is just a front end application where you can write a prompt here. And when you click on this button here, it's going to create images actually based on your prompt over here. Now, today I'm going to be teaching you how to be in a space where you can create your own application and connect this application to ChatGPT or whatever uh, language model that you have or image generation model that you have. And it's going to help you generate anything that you want from, like, you can connect it to your application and it's going to go ahead and generate whatever you want. Okay. So here I have a front end application here, and this front end is written in JavaScript, HTML, and CSS. And for you to be able to write this front end here, we need to use a framework, and the framework that actually we are using here is called React. Okay, so for you to be able to build a nice, good-looking front end application, these are the languages actually that you need to be using. But there are so many different ways on how you can build your front end application. But for this, we're going to be using this. Okay. So here we have what we call an AI image generator. And here you write your prompt here. In this case, I have written a dog eating pizza. So when I click on this button, it's going to generate images actually. It doesn't matter how many images that you want. In your application, you can suggest how many images that you want your application to create, and it's going to go ahead and do that. Okay. So I have this front end application here. And once you write this prompt here, you have to send this data information to backend. Okay. And here is where we create a backend application. And in this backend, I'm using Spring Boot. Now, Spring Boot is a framework that is used actually to write languages like Java and Kotlin. Okay. So when you have knowledge of Spring Boot and how to use Spring Boot, it's easy for you actually to use Java language for you to be able actually to create an application, back-end application using Spring Boot. I have a course that actually teaches you how to create a Spring Boot application. One of the courses actually. So please just go ahead, check through my YouTube account, and you're gonna come across this Spring Boot application over here. Now, here we do what we call an API call to the back end. Remember, you are posting an info. You're posting actually a prompt. You're posting a prompt here, and the prompt actually is um, how to a dog eating pizza. So this one is gonna go straight to your back end. Okay. And this is a message actually that goes straight to your back end. So this back end here calls an API to the back end. So you are doing an API call to the back end. So you're writing a message here. So this message that says create an image of dog eating pizza, it's then pushed inside the service class. So this is a Spring Boot where we have the front end, where we have actually uh, um, a class that's called controller. Then the controller handles all the API calls. And the API calls that you do, they go through the service class here. Now, this service class here handles logics. Okay. Now, this is where you create a method, and this method helps you actually to generate whatever you want or to store information to the data or to get information from the data. So that's why we say it handles logic. Now, this token here helps us actually connect to ChatGPT. Okay. So the token over here helps us connect to the ChatGPT, the big language model that we all know. Okay. So once it connects here, it's gonna generate an image from here, send it through the service class, then through then the send it not the service class, send it through the controller. Then this here, the API call here sends the information now to what we call the front end. Okay, it sends the information to the front end, and that's why you have these two pictures being displayed here. Okay, so I hope you enjoy this course and subscribe to this channel as I always say, and let's move on. In our course today, actually, I'm going to be showing you how to create AI that generate images from backend using Spring Boot. Okay. And just to show you what I have a front end here application that is running on localhost 3000 here. And here, I'm just going to come here and just write something. I'm going to say, uh, um, uh, I'm going to write a prompt here. So I'm going to say, dog um, eating pizza. Okay, so if I click on generate here, just give it a minute and then it's gonna go ahead and generate the images. And this is actually my own AI that I've just created. So there you go. So we have a dog actually eating or feeding on pizza here. So for you to be able actually to know how to create your own AI image generator, so what you have to do is actually to follow up the video, step by step. And we're gonna be using some tokens here. I'm gonna teach you about tokens. I'm gonna teach you about Spring Boot backend, the dependencies that you need. We're gonna create a front end using React. Okay, so it's gonna be an awesome course. So thank you so much and enjoy. So the first thing that you need to do is to generate an API key. Okay, so for that, actually you will go straight to this page here. Make sure step number one, you have registered yourself with ChatGPT. So just go to ChatGPT and also do some ChatGPT, then create account with a API login. So create an account with ChatGPT. Then after that, just come to OpenAI overview. Okay, so once you click on that, it's gonna bring you to this page over here. Okay, so once you're in this page here, so just come here and type API, let's just come here, API keys. Just type this word, API keys. So once you click here, you're gonna come toward this page. But as you can see, I have my own API key here that I generated on the Jan of 19th Jan 2025. So I have my security key. But if you want to create your own security key, just come here and click create new security key. So here you're gonna actually give the reason of actually why you're creating this key. You can even put it as optional. Then here you can select the project, default project, then create the security key. So once you have created this security key, actually you don't have to share it with somebody. And make sure when you click on here, you're gonna see an API key that will be produced. So make sure you copy that to somewhere, paste it somewhere else where you will not forget, because at the end of the day, once you come out of this page, it's going to be difficult for you to get the API key again. And this API key is supposed to be a secret. Okay, because at the end of the day, if someone has your API key, it's easy for them to access, to use it, and at the end of the day, you're going to be charged for it. Go straight actually to Google. Then I want you to bootstrap your project. Just go to Spring Boot Initializer or Spring Initializer. So here I want us to bootstrap our project. So you can use Gradle or Maven. So for me, I'm actually using Maven, and the language is Java. We have Kotlin, we have Groovy, but I'm going to be using Java. Spring Boot versions, I'm gonna go with 3.4.1, and then here at the group project metadata, here you can actually say com small letters com dot demo application, just like that. Okay, and then here you can say demo app, just like that. Okay, then description, you can say demo, actually you can leave it the way it is, demo project for Spring Boot. Then packaging, because at the end of the day you're going to package this application of yours, so we're going to do a jar packaging. And then the version of Java, because you're using language Java, for me I'm using Java 17, which has a long-term support. Okay, Java 21 still has a long-term support, but 17 actually is what I use, and most developers use Java 17. Add dependency, we're gonna add two dependency here. We're gonna add Spring Web here, because we're building a RESTful application. Okay, and then at the end of the day we have OpenAI here, OpenAI declaration, REST clients open, this one here, Spring Boot, Spring Cloud routing. Okay, no, actually this is OpenFace, sorry, just go here to OpenAI, this one here. So Spring AI support for ChatGPT. So click here and add this dependency. So once you have this, click down here to generate your project. So you have your project here. Okay, so the next thing you have to do is extract your project. So we have it here, so you can click here, right click, go to extract all, and then you're gonna extract these to your downloads demo app. So click on extract, and then you have your project here. Okay, which you have extracted, and it's at C user download demo app. So this is where your project is. So the next thing actually you do is that you're gonna open your IntelliJ IDEA here, IntelliJ IDEA or whatever IDE you're using. Come here to open, and then select where you have saved your folder. So it's in desktop, and then we're gonna go straight to downloads. Where are the downloads? See, desktop. Why can't I find it? So see desktop downloads here. So let me refresh actually. So there you go. So it takes just you to refresh. So demo app, click on OK. Then trust this project. Yes, I do. Then what will happen is that the click here. So this one you might actually see it on your computer or not. So Microsoft Defender may affect. Okay, just close that. Then here we have, this is now the app itself, demo app. Okay, and then if I click here, this is an MVN. So if I come to SRC, we have the main folder here, then Java, and then we have now this class here called the demo application. So this is the Spring Boot application itself here. Okay, so once I click here, run, and run this, it's gonna run. And as you can see, it's running Spring Boot, and some errors to display the condition evaluation report. We run application to debug. Anyway, we haven't done anything here. So what we're gonna do is that OpenAI key must be set. So we need to set this one here. OpenAI key must be set. So we don't have this. Because why is it asking us for this? Because when you come down here to pom.xml, remember we put this dependency here, Spring AI Open Spring Boot Starter. Okay, from Framework AI. So we have this here. So that's why it's asking us. That's where we are getting this error here. Okay, so with their API key that you generated, what you're gonna do is just come here to resources down here, then go to application property, and here we have the name of the application, which is demo app. Okay, Spring application name is demo app. So what I'm gonna do is I'll come here and say Spring um, then I'm gonna say dot AI API key. So I'm gonna do this. So spring.ai OpenAI API key. Okay. So this is where you're gonna actually paste your API key. You're gonna paste it here, but make sure that this API key of yours is not accessible to any person, because at the end of the day, that's what people do. They will come actually and steal your API key and use it, and you're gonna end up being charged. So what you do here, instead, you can actually paste your key here, or what you can do, you can create a $sign and then say open AI dash API dash key. So you can put this like this. Then what you do, because you have this one, you can come here, right click, go to edit, and then you're gonna create an environment variable. Okay, so come to modify motion and then go to environment variable. So what you do, you're gonna type your API key here. Understand? You're gonna type your API key here. Let me close here. So you're gonna type your API key here. Okay, here. So the name of the API is, let me first close here. So if I pick this one here, copy, then go to edit. I have copied this one here. This is the name of the API key. So edit, go back to environment variable, or you can say Alt E to create the environment variable. Then here you're gonna paste that name of the API key, OpenAI API key. Then here you're gonna paste now your API key over here. So you can go ahead and paste your API key here and click OK. So once you do that, you will not have any problem. Okay. So two ways you can create an environment variable, post your API key here, or what you can do, you can come here and get rid of this one and then paste your API key here as shown here. So, but I'm gonna use the environment variable and I'm gonna go ahead and create my API key. So I'm gonna go ahead and create my API key here. Okay. So let me see, environment variable, add API key. So let me take this out just like that. And then here I will write my API key. Okay, so I have added my API key. So once I click here, it's gonna load, and I don't think that we're gonna have any error. So there you go. So no error, because we have successfully connected our API key to our application. So once you do that, the next step is actually creating a service that will call this OpenAI. Okay, so right click, go to new, and then click on Java, and then here we're gonna say, so we're gonna call this app image and then service. So that's the name of the application. So I'm gonna click enter. Then up here I'm gonna annotate this with at service. So the reason why we annotate this at service is to tell Spring Boot that this class is a service, meaning it will handle specific business logic. Okay, so inside here, the next thing we're going to do is to create a variable, and this variable that we're going to create will connect our service to the AI model. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to come and type private and then final. Then I'm going to say open. So we're calling this open image model, which comes from Spring Boot framework.ai. And then I'm going to create a variable, and that is the variable there. So here we're going to create a constructor. Going to add a constructor just like that. Okay, and this constructor here is set up to So, and this constructor is set. So, and this constructor here sets up the connection to the AI model when the service is created. Okay, it sets up the, so this constructor here, it sets up the connection to the AI model when the service is created. And here we have this dot OpenAI image model, which is equals to OpenAI image model. This is where we're gonna save the AI model connection so we can use it later here. So after this, we're gonna go ahead actually and create a method. And now this method is to ask the AI to generate an image based on the given specifications that we're going to give it. Okay, so here we're going to say generate. This is the name of the method. So generate image. So that is the name of the method. And this one, it comes from image response. So here, so this is image response, and it's coming from spring framework.ai.image. So generate image, and it's coming from image response. And then here we're gonna put this as public. So this is gonna be a public, just like that. And then inside the parentheses, we're gonna say here we're gonna say string. So these are specifications of the image that we're gonna create. So we're gonna say prompt, and this is just giving it a prompt actually. So I'm gonna come click here. So this is gonna be a prompt that we can pass a prompt here. So we can actually, prompt is to describe the image we want. You can even say like a beach at sunset. So once you give it a prompt, it's gonna give you a feedback of a picture with a beach sunset. Okay, then we also have to specify the quality. So we're gonna say string, and then here we can say the quality, just like that, quality of the picture. Okay, and here I'm just gonna put a comma here, image quality. Then down here we also gonna specify how many number of pictures do you want. So here we're gonna go with integer, and then we're gonna put an n. So how many numbers of images that you're looking for. Then down here we're gonna go with the width of the picture. So we're gonna say int, and then width, just like that. And then also we're gonna go with int and then height, just like that. Okay, then I'm gonna take this out just like that. Okay, so this is to allow how tall the image is supposed to be. Then once we do this, the next step we're gonna do now here, what we're gonna do is that we're gonna now tell the AI the prompt settings for the image. So these are just specification, and then now we're gonna give now the prompt settings for the image. Okay, and here we're gonna now create an image which is gonna say this is image response. So this is gonna be image response, PONS. Okay, and this one is coming from image response. Okay, and here we're gonna call OpenAI model. So we're gonna click .call, and then once we call, we're gonna call the image prompt. Okay, so call, and then down here we gonna say new image prompt. Okay, and now this new image prompt here is supposed to have a prompt, which is now the prompt itself. Then down here we're gonna come and say open image model. So this is now the model of the picture. How do you want it to look like? So you're gonna say dot, then wait up. So here we're gonna say actually open, okay, then AI image options here. Okay, then the image option dot builder. Okay, so if I come here just like that, I'm gonna say dot width, sorry, dot width, with height actually, and this will specify the height. Okay, then down here actually we're gonna come here and say height just like that. Okay, then down here you can say dot width. We also have with model here, with model, and then here we're gonna specify the model here, and this model is the one, this is now the model to generate the image here. So we're gonna use DALL-E dash E dash 2. Okay, so that's the image model we're gonna use. Then we also have dot, you're gonna say here with n. So this is actually the number of images that you would want actually with n here. Then down here we're gonna say dot, and then we're gonna say with height. We've specified the height, so it's a width, width, just like that, and then we're gonna type width there. Then dash dot, and then we're gonna say build. Okay, so we're gonna build just like that, and then here, let me get this rid of this one. So here we're gonna return the response. We're gonna return now this response. Okay, and basically this is the method here. Okay, so this is now the class image service. So to take you quick, what we have done is we have this class here called the image service. We have annotated it with the service. So to show you that this is a service class, we have created a variable here called OpenAI image model, and this is where now the image, we are connecting to OpenAI using this one here. Okay, then after that we create a method here, and this not this is actually a constructor here, and this one here saves the AI model connection so we can use it later. Okay, so this one saved the AI model connection so we can use it later here. And then here we have now the specification of the image that we're gonna generate. Then here we're creating an image. Once we specify this, so we have the image response here, and now this one is gonna respond back, you know, by calling a new prompt, a new image prompt, and this is now the prompt that we gave, and now these are the specification of the image that we're gonna create. Then after that, this response, we return back the response. Okay, so once we do this, the next step is just to create a controller, and so that we can actually call the image itself. So the next thing we're going to do is to create a controller. So I'm going to come right click here, go to new, then go to Java class. And here I'm going to call this controller image generator. Sorry, generator controller. So that is the name of our class. Then up here, I'm going to go ahead and annotate this with at request REST controller. And this is to define the class as a controller to manage user request and send response. That's why we are annotating it with that REST controller. Okay. So in here, we're gonna generate a service to handle the image generation logic. Okay, and here I'm gonna say image service, then I'm gonna put this, so this is a variable that we have generated here, and I'm gonna put this inside a private and then final. Then here I'm gonna add a constructor parameter just like that, and this constructor here is to initialize the image service. Then down here we're gonna create a method to process the image generation request from the user, and here we're gonna create a method called create image just like that. And this one here we gonna put it, this is gonna be a string, so I'm gonna say public and then list. It's a list of strings, so I'm gonna say list, and then inside I'm gonna say string just like that. Then I'm gonna import this class. Okay, then inside here what we're gonna do, actually we gonna call the request. Okay, so I'm gonna come here and say at request param, sorry, at request param, and here we're gonna import a prompt. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and click here to import a prompt. So I'm gonna import a prompt here, and this is to provide description for the image here. Then after that I'm gonna say at request param, and here I'm gonna set this as a default value, and then here it's the quality of actually the picture that we want, and we're gonna say the quality is supposed to be high actually, or you can name it as HD, high definition. Then here we can come and say request param, and then we're gonna set this default here to 1. So this is the number of images that we can generate. You can even put 2, 3, okay, doesn't matter, but the default setting is 1. Then here I'm gonna come and say a param, and this is gonna be default setting of the width, which is 256. I'm gonna work with this figure over here, or actually I can come and I can change this and say 1024. Let that be the default width. Then here I'm gonna say at request param same as the height, just like that. Then in here I'm gonna throw an exception just in case we come across any error in between input and output. So we will have this handling, so it's gonna be IO exception from Java IO. Okay, then after this, inside here we're gonna generate image using now the provided input. Okay, so here we can come here and say image service. Okay, then we're gonna say generate image, and then the prompt, the quality, the number of images, the width, and then the height. Then this information we're gonna store it inside a variable. So I'm gonna say image response from image AI, then I'm gonna say image response, then we're gonna save the information to inside this variable here. So what we're gonna do is that we're gonna extract the URL of the generated image from the response. So what I'm gonna do is that I'm gonna come here and say image response, which is this one over here. So I'm gonna say dot get results. Okay, get results with an S, get results. Okay, then dot, because it's a list, don't forget it's a list, so it's not one result, many. So dot stream the results, and then here we're gonna say dot map, sorry, so we're gonna do a map. Okay, so in here we're gonna say that inside here we're gonna say, actually we're gonna have to pass an argument, and then we're gonna say results, uh, results. Okay. Then here we're gonna say for each result that we create, we need to get dot output, get an output, and then we get the URL. So for each result, for each let me take this out, dot URL, sorry, dot get URL. So I'm going to click here, place it here. So we can say here we're doing a mapping. So it's saying for each result that we get, we gonna create a URL. Okay, because here we are generating image from the response. So we have to create a URL for each response that we get. Then here we're gonna say the list. So we're gonna put every information inside the list. Then since we have this information, we have to store this information inside a variable. So I'm going to say list of what? List of strings, just like that. And then here, I'm going to say, this is where now we're going to save the information. Image, let's say image URL, just like that. Okay. Image. Why am I confusing that? So image URL. Okay. Then I'm going to close this. Then after that, what we're going to do is just do a return. So this will return the list of images URL to the user. So here we are saving the list of URL inside here. Then after that, we're going to just return. Okay, we're going to say return. So what are we returning? We're returning images, image URLs, just like that. Okay. Then after that, just close and then just get rid of this error. So great. And then here, what we're gonna do actually, we're gonna come and do, because this is supposed to be a get mapping. Okay, so this is a get mapping, and then let's give a path. So this is a path. So let's say create images. Okay, create image. Now, quickly, let me take you through this. So we have a class called image generator control, and we have annotated it with at rest control. Then we create here a variable, and this is to generate for image generation logic. So here, then we add the constructor to initialize the image service. Then here we create a method called create image, and then here we give the information, the prompt, the quality of the picture, the number of the picture, and the width and the height of the picture. Then we throw an exception here just in case we come across any error. Then after that, we generate image service. We call image service to generate this information, prompt, quality, width, and height. Then after that, we also generate image URL. Okay, so here we're going to say image response. We get the results, and then we stream the results, and then we say we do a mapping, and we say for each result that we get, we need to get the URL. So you compile the URL into a list, and then we save this list inside a variable. So it's a list of strings inside a variable. Then this one is what we return back to the user. Okay, such simple steps. So I'm going to run this just to see if it's working. Click on run just to see if it's working. Okay, so can't see any error. So we're gonna go ahead and paste this URL to see if we can be able to generate an image. So I'm gonna pass this URL here. So I'm gonna come here, and then in here, I'm just gonna click here, then post this URL here. But what I want to do, I just want to edit this part here, create image. So we're gonna call this create image. So I'm gonna come here, and here I'm gonna change this generate image here, and I'm gonna name it as create image. Then let's say an image of a house, just like that. And then the quality is HD, the number is 1, okay, and then the width and the height. Let's see, click enter. So it's loading. So it has generated a URL. Remember here we said it's supposed to generate get a URL for each. Okay, then after that, just come here, pick up this URL, just like that, and then I'm gonna post this in let me take it again. Good. So this one, get rid of that. So I'm gonna click enter to see if it's gonna generate the image, and there you go. So we are able actually to create, and we have been able actually to generate image from our own AI. Okay, so this is it. That's very nice. So having done the back end part of it, we're gonna go ahead and create a front end using React, HTML and CSS. And what we're gonna do, we're gonna create a UI like this. So what I'm gonna do here, we're gonna enter a prompt, okay? And this prompt will generate 3 images actually. So the initial backend um, app was generating just 1 image, but this one is going to generate like 3 images. So I can come here and say photo of a monster lizard, just like that, a photo of a monster lizard. So if I click on generate, so it takes a little bit of time actually to get the information from the backend. Just give it a minute. Generate. Oh, I didn't click on generate. That's my bad. So click on generate, and then it's gonna generate 3 images of our monster lizard. So as you can see, so we have 3 pictures of a monster lizard, you know, and this one actually came from the back end. Now, since you are my students, and I want to be in a space where I want you guys to be able to learn how to do these kind of things. So what I did, I went ahead and created the front end application. And this application, I have it in GitHub, okay? So what I want you to do actually is to try and follow up the process of creating the front end application, and at least try to see if you can do that by yourself. But what I'm going to do is that I'm going to show you what happened or what I actually did, so that actually you can follow up using this video and try to create this front end application. So what you're going to do is that you will download this application from GitHub, and then you're going to upload it in your IDE. And then after uploading it, you will try to use my video that explains the steps, and then try to see if you can build. And that's how I believe that people learn, by trying themselves. I believe that you don't actually really need to watch videos about coding, but actually you need to take a project and try to build it and customize it and try to see actually what you can do with it. Self study is very important. So try to see if you can build up this application. So just to take you through the things I've done. Now, here we are using get mapping, okay? As you can see, we were using mapping initially, but I had to change it to post mapping. The reason why I changed this to post mapping is because I'm using front end, okay? And what I'm gonna be using, I'm using React as a front end. So when I am writing this prompt here, I'm posting this information to my backend. So I need to use a post mapping, but it's returning a URL that has these three pictures here. Okay. So we are not using a get mapping here. Okay. So basically, this is the same. We have the class called the image generator control, and then we have this here from image service. Then after that, we create a controller. Then we have a post mapping here. Then here we have a method called generate image, and then this is a list of string, and it is requesting a prompt, and then also the prompt, also the picture, the quality is supposed to be HD, and also the number of pictures I've set it to 3. As you can see, we have 3 here, and that's why we have 3 images in our front end. Okay, then after that, this is back end, remember, you know controller. Then after that, we have the width and the height of the image that is supposed to be generated. Then after that, we say image service, and then we call the image service from this service class over here. So we call the image service in our controller, and we say generate prompt, the quality, the number of images, the width, and the height. Then once it does that, it's going to store the information inside this image response here, which is the variable here. Then we're going to say image dot. So we're going to call this image response in order to get the information, to get this prompt quality and the rest of information here. So we're going to say image dot response dot get result. So when we get the results, we stream, and then we create the URL for the images because we say there are 3 images. So we're going to create URL for the images. And then after that, this is what we are returning. Okay. Then after that, we also passed here, if you remember up here, we said throw an exception. And then the exception here is error generate image. So if we cannot actually get the image, then this here will send the information to our image service here. And here we actually have, if I click the image service class here, we have a method, and this method here accepts this prompt quality, this information here from our controller. It accepts that, and then after that, we return an OpenAI image model we call, and then we create a new prompt. And then this new prompt has these builders here. Okay. Then after that, we actually create an error exception error where we catch the error just in case if we come across the error. So that's what I have changed here. Then once I do that, I went straight and I created a front end application. So this folder here is all front end application. So in my videos actually, as if you go back, I have a video showing how to create a front end application, or you actually can go to ChatGPT and ask them how you can create a front end application. So what you do, you cd inside src. Let me just show you quick. So we have here this is our terminal. So what you do, if I cancel, so what you do, you cd inside src, and then you see, then after that you make sure you create this folder here. Then after you create the folder, how do you create a folder? So you go to src new, and then create a directory and call it front end. So what you're going to do is that you will cd inside the front end, and then you will install the java, the react application. Okay, so there are steps on how you're going to go and ahead and do that. So once you have the front end application, what you're going to do is that you have to create a file called client.js. Now, this file here connects the back end, which is the controller here, the controller that we have here, this API here, post mapping here, it connects it to the front end. So this is the file. So we have this URL here. And if you see, this URL is from our backend application, which is this one here. Okay. As you can see, generate image. Okay. So once you have that, then you're gonna do a post mapping. That's the method. Okay. And then after that, once you connect your application, what I'm gonna do is that I'm gonna leave some comments in our application here. So as you can see here, we have comment here, which I put that this here is used for debugging. And then this one is to ensure that it's an array, because we are getting the information is supposed to be in an array list. Okay. Then here we return an empty array if we catch an error, if we end up catching an error. Okay. But this one here is for debugging. But this one connects now the back end to our front end. This is for debugging. Okay, here. And then this one is when we get, make sure that we ensure that the information we get, the data we get, it's an array. And then here it catches the error and then returns the error. It returns empty array on error. Okay, so if you get an error, so you don't get a picture that you're requesting. So the next thing, we go ahead and create a file called image generator. And this one will accept now the client. It accepts this one here that is connected to our backend, which is called the client.js. We import the file itself, and then here we create a const called image generator here. Then we also have three const here. Then here we have a const that handles generate here. Then it clears all the images before fetching new ones. So this code here clears all the images before fetching a new one. Okay, so set loading to true. Okay, then after that, we also have the error updates. As you can see, the comment here says update state when receives URL. This part here, generate images. Then over here, it returns the table actually. This is a table here, image generator container, which if I click here, we have this one, image generator here, as you can see. Then after that, this is a table. It returns a table, a HTML over here, as you can see. So no images generated. So go ahead and do that. Then after that, we push this to our index.js. So we render it inside here app. Okay. Or we have app.js, sorry. So once we have this image generator here, this file here, we push it inside our app.js. And here we push also our app.css. So this gives this app.css here gives our picture color. It designs the front end. You see, if you have this generate image, it's like a button and it's blue. So all these things comes from app.css. Then after that, so we once we have this app.js here, then we push this inside our index.js. So once we push it inside our index.js, we render this app here. We render this folder called app. So we render it here. Okay. So that's why when I run this app, I have something like this here, and it's running on localhost 3000. Okay. This one here, this here runs on the localhost 3000. Once we render this .js here, then we also have, when you go straight to package.json, make sure we put this proxy here, HTML / localhost 8080. So this one actually helps us connect to our backend. So make sure you put this proxy here, okay? Because the backend is running on 8080. So once we run our app, this is what we get actually, okay? So you get so let me just run the app. So if I click here, so if I click terminal here, so I'm gonna do ls, I think. Yeah, so you're gonna see cd front end, and then we have an ls. So you're gonna do npm and then start. So if I click on that, it's gonna start our application, and as you can see, it says successfully started. So if here I can come and say create a picture of a teacher teaching coding in class. So if I click here, so we have this image is being created. Give it some time, it's loading. There you go. Okay. So at least you're getting images from back end.